Hey everyone, welcome back to AI with Pallavi. Ready to learn another AWS service in just 10 minutes? Let's get started. Let's learn Amazon Step Functions. This is one of the services which helps you to handle your entire workflow, from creating Lambda functions or executing API gateways or just running something like an API on your Fargate or ECS containers, right? Let's dive deep and see what step functions can do. Now, there are major things you need to know about step functions. The first thing is it consists of a workflow definition where you actually define how your workflow should work like. Then the task states. So task states is something which actually tells you what needs to be done. Then you have some branching logic which you can add like if else switch. Then you can have parallel execution, map executions. So that's how you can define your entire workflow. Step functions also give you some automatic retry and catch functionality, also the error handling functionality, right? So it's very good in catching that. Then there are different types of workflows. One is standard workflow, another one is express workflow. So we'll look at all of those just in a minute. So let's look at the major things. We have state machine definition, which is written in Amazon States language, right? So console also gives you a way to actually define your workflow. Now, when we talk about workflow, this is how a simple step functions workflow look like. You have a start, you have the state, right? It can be a choice state. So if let's say you want to make the change based on the input parameters, here in example, it can be a condition parameter. If the value is this, go here. If no, then go ahead and invoke the Lambda function. So this is just a sample of workflow which can be executed using step functions. After that, there are different states which you need to define. You can directly invoke ECS, Fargate, SNS, SQS, Lambda, DynamoDB, and 200 plus services. We'll just look into that when we will start looking at the console of step functions. Then there are multiple states. So states are super important. That's also something you should know, that how we actually check different states within step functions. Then parallel and map states, retry and catch, standard versus express workflows. So these are a couple of important things you need to know about step functions. Let's first go ahead and look at the console and what step functions actually works like. So let me show you. This is the modeler where you can actually create a workflow. This is a sample workflow where I have an API gateway which is being invoked, and here you can define the configuration. So you can add the API gateway details, then you can add the next successful step, like whether you want to call it successful, call another API, and things like that. And then you can have details here. Not only this, you can have this arguments like what you want to pass to API gateway, what you are expecting in return, the sample input, output, then the variables, how you want to do the error handling. So all that is configurable here, and you can see there are different states. One is this state which is called an API gateway. Then is you have a choice state. Then you have also integrated SNS here, right? And we are publishing whether we are notifying success or notifying failure. For SNS, you can say already API is added. Then you can have the integration type, how you want to do it, the arguments, whether you want to add the topic ARN, right? Because you are just defining SNS here, but what it needs to do, you have to mention here. Now you can see there, these are the most popular actions you can do with step functions, like invoke AWS Lambda, SNS, ECS, step function, like triggering another step function, right? AWS glue job, now Bedrock agent core, so if that can also be used. The workflow for agents, right, can also be created using step functions. And not only this, there are multiple services, right? 200 plus services which you can integrate within a step functions workflow, like all these services in compute, storage, database, then further. So you have all those options within step functions. Few more things you can use is the states, right? You can have a choice state, parallel state, map, right? If it runs parallel workflows for each item in a data set. So let's say you are getting requests for 10 different data sets, then you can trigger the workflow for all of those. Pass state, wait state, success state, or fail state. So these are different states which you can use. This workflow also gives you the patterns, right? These are the common patterns which is used. Athena, S3 object, JSON file in S3. So these are some predefined patterns which you can use. Also job poller, so managing an asynchronous job using a polling loop. That's also possible just by using step functions. Now this is a designer part of step functions console where you can create it. If let me show you one of the execution which is already there, right? So I already have a state, and this is the definition of my state machine. And you can see how we can define the definition. We have details, what we are trying to do, and then states, right? So these are different states which I see. Now you also see the execution in this format, where you can see what was the input, output, variables passed, details, the definition of each state. So it's very easy to manage and control the error handling as well in this case. As soon as you traverse to each and every state, you can see what was the input, what was the output, how it failed, what actually happened, and what was the last action. So you can see this is the output from definition. Now this is what we have, and this is what we got, right? This was output defined in the definition, and we got it like this. So when the execution ran, there were some coding stuff which we have added, and that's how we identified that what was the name of the time of execution, then what was the time for which the state machine ran, and things like that. So that's how easy it is to define a state machine and use it. I will also quickly show some other examples. This one we saw of triggering an API. Then if you want to analyze logs, right, let's say in S3 bucket, so you can send it to S3 buckets. You can define the S3 bucket here, and you can see what we are trying to do is we are trying to process that using a map. What this means is all the data, right, based on each and every object in that bucket will go through all of this. So this is a map state. So every object in the bucket, as soon as it comes, these states are checked, like analyze log data, store metric, store summary. So this is what happens, and then generate daily summary. So this happens across the day, and then you'll get the summary at the end. So this is the function which we are triggering. So you just give the function ARN, you just give the payload you want to send, and all of that. So arguments you are trying to pass. Now, if you look at the definition of map state, you can choose what is the processing mode you want. What are the sources? Sources, we are saying that we want it as an S3 bucket. So I've just mentioned what is the transformation, object data, format, S3 bucket. So all these details you need to give, and when you want to run it, what was the prefix, concurrency limit. Let's say at any particular time you can only run 10, this whole workflow for 10 objects. So you can mention that, right? So all of this information is already present, and you can use that while triggering your workflow. Now let's go ahead and see another example. This is where you can use step functions for agentic workflows. For this particular one, what we are trying to do is we are going to use a customer support ticket triage using Bedrock agent code. So this is what we can do is using step functions, analyze ticket, recommend action, and record triage. So this is also one of the predefined workflows within Bedrock agent code, and you can use that. Then this is the one where we are actually trying to do some heavy lifting, right? What we are trying to do is we are trying to use Athena, and we are trying to get the data and then store that in database. Now you can see this has multiple states. This has Lambda invoke state, then Athena start query execution, then a parallel state where you are mentioning what needs to be done. So you have these options, right? Start query execution for query 1, then get the result. Similarly, start it for query 2, get the result, and then publish the result to SNS. So this is how you can define your own workflows. There are multiple samples of step functions workflow already present. Now, how it actually works is this is the input of your state machine, then this is the flow state where it needs to go. These are the variables which needs to be passed, right? So you need to mention that as well after every variable. So there is a specific input output parameters you need to use to extract those variables from the incoming path, right? If you want to use, then you have different states, and at the end you have the output. So that's how you can do it. Now, state input, dollar states dot input, that's how you extract it, that's how you pass it to the next state. It's also possible to pass the output of one state to another, or you can pass partial output as well. So that's also possible. That's how you can do it. So you define the arguments, then service integration, HTTP endpoint, activity worker. So you add more details, right? Dollar states dot result or states dot error output. Based on that, you send it to next state. So always remember that you can modify the input and output for each and every state. So you can do that also. Now let's go ahead and look at how this actually works. So let's say you have a state machine, which we already saw, right? One of the state, we saw multiple state machines. So let's look at for this one. If we have state for process order, it triggered by a new order event, what happens? It says validate payment. So this is the first sample first state which is selected, and it goes there. So if any error comes, it will go to this one, that it can be an error or fulfill order. This has its own parameters. So that's how it flows. Important things to know is use cases. How you can use it? You can use it in a multi-step e-commerce workflow, right? Validate, charge, fulfill, ship, and notify. All that can be done by step functions. Then data processing. So instead of having a single big Lambda function, right, which can time out, you can have states mapped separately in parallel and attach it to S3, and you can do the processing. Human in the loop approval. So workflow pauses until someone approves. So that's also possible. So that's how you can integrate Slack, you can integrate email approvals, human in the loop flows in case of AI workflows. Then microservices orchestration. Coordinating with ECS, Lambda, SQS as a single workflow is also possible. So instead of direct service to service calls, you can call it, manage it inside a simple step functions workflow. Then one execution, right? Start to finish. Let's look at that. Execution start, task state runs. If success, choice routes forward. If not, we have retry policies and then all of that. That also you can use. Now, what you need to know when you are attempting for any certifications, or if someone asks you about step functions, right? These are the common questions. Like, what is the difference between standard versus express workflows? So standard workflows are very typical, like exactly once execution, and it can run up to 1 year duration. So it can be like create a workflow, it can keep on running for your S3 bucket for 1 year. Express workflows are at least once or at most once for SIG, built for high volume, short workloads, priced per execution per duration, right? So that's how the difference exists. Then step functions is definitely different from SQS and SNS. If you don't know about SQS and SNS, just check out the playlist. There are already videos for both of these services. SQS SNS, it's mostly decentralized, right? It is for notifications, for queuing, but step functions is a workflow service. Task token versus synchronization invocation. Now, what is task token? It is like it pauses execution and waits for hours or days at no compute cost while waiting. Synchronous is the task blocks until the downstream call returns. So you need to know the callback pattern is different while synchronous pattern is different. Map versus distributed map. These are the different state transitions which you need to know. Map inline iterates over an array already in the state's input when you have multiple items, right? Distributed map reads items directly from S3. So for direct integration, you can use this. Retry versus catch. Retry actually reattempts the state trigger. Catch defines what happens after retries are exhausted. So these are the major things which you need to know about step functions and what you actually should understand. And that is how you can learn step functions. I hope this video is useful. Go ahead, create your first workflow. It's very easy. You can just start by just using the samples already present there, and you're good to go. And just like that, you have learned another AWS service in 10 minutes. Hit that subscribe button if you like this video, and comment if you have any questions related to this service, or if there is any service you want me to focus next. Happy learning!